I'm sorry?
Steal it?
Steal it. I'm not, that is not an activity that I would suggest. Okay? Certainly not on film. But then you still got to figure out what are you going to credit, right? Even if you steal it, you got to credit something. You can't just, I mean, that's, right? You still have to credit something, so I'm not sure what you're going to credit. What? Labor. Labor? Okay. Megan, what's the next number? Tony, be nice. I'm sorry, he was distracting me. He's throwing pencils. I'm sorry?
Indirect material used in production is $4,000.
Okay, where does that go? Indirect materials used in production. Indirect materials? Why would you put it in overhead? I did not hear a word of what you mumbled. Is it, I mean, the first question you want to ask yourself, is it a product cost? Yes or no? Is it a cost of producing products? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, good answer. So that means it goes in one of those T accounts down the left side, okay? And so now you want to ask yourself the question, is it direct materials? No. Is it direct labor? No. So therefore it must be manufacturing overhead. Very good. How much? Another word.
Dollars. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That was a lot to kind of think about there. And you were learning, very clearly. You were learning. So you're getting this getting this down better.
I got a question though. It says
Uh-oh.
it was used in production, so wouldn't that be going into the work in process?
The in production is trying to make sure it's clear that it's a product cost as opposed to a period cost in this particular instance. Yeah. You still got to run it through the T accounts. You can't just slap it into work in process. Okay. We wouldn't like that. You can't just slap it into. So ECTA. How come people are jumping when they say their name? I mean, he just about jumped out of his seat when I called his name. What's next? What number's next?
I calculated the credit of direct material.
I'm sorry?
I calculated the credit side of the direct material.
Oh. Are we going to let her do that? Do you think that's fair? We need that number, though. What is it? How much? Wow. How awesome is that? That's thinking outside the box, right? Or within the sock and the shoe, as the case may be. You folks are a rough crowd this afternoon. Holden, you happy with that?
Yeah, I don't really get it.
You don't really get it?
No.
Why don't you get it? What don't you get about it?
Aren't we on factory supply use?
Well, she was thinking, do we ultimately need that number? Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes, ultimately we do need that number. And so she was being very nice.
Okay, I see what you
She did this, right? Which, I got to tell you, looks an awful lot like a sock and a shoe to me. What? So it's a sponge and a spatula? A square and a shoe. But that does not kind of stir up the imagination and stick in the memory cells like sock and shoe does. Right? Just saying. Holden, you're next. Please give me another number. You can give me that next number you're looking at because I think that's what you really want to do.
So are we on depreciation of the factory?
We just did the $4,000 one. That one.
Okay.
So factory supplies used is what we're on now.
6,200, so
Where's that going to go?
I'm not sure, I think,
Do you remember the conversation I just had with Megan? Kind of, because you want to have the same conversation with yourself. And I mean, I can help you if you want. Is it a product cost or a period? Is this a cost of production?
Yes.
Okay, so that means it goes in one of these 3 T accounts. Is it direct materials?
No, wait,
Is it direct labor?
no.
Then it must be.
Manufacturing,
How much?
6,200
6,200 what?
dollars.
Thank you. See how easy that was? As soon as you know it's a product cost, it goes in one of those 3 T accounts. And then you can kind of think your way through. Okay? If it's a period cost, where's it go, Nick? I'm asking you kind of a question outside the box here. If it's a period cost, where do we put all period costs? Are you, Nick? That's okay. You're right. You're right. But maybe Nick didn't hear. Did you hear?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. But he is right. So what is it?
that's kind of what I was,
That was what you were going to say as well?
yeah.
Okay. Which is what I mean, he's certainly smart to say that, especially since, you know, I've already told Seth he's right. So where's it go?
Since you said
A period cost. Where's our period cost going to go into which T account? Income statement. Awesome! Look at how much stuff you are learning. Doesn't it feel good to be learning stuff, Tyson? Yeah.
I was confused why we already did the direct material, like, how did you know that there wasn't gonna be any more direct material? Did you already look over the list? Is that why we?
Yeah. I mean, because
I thought you
typically,
were gonna do 6,200, that threw me off, so.
yes, we do know direct material stereotypically has just a beginning inventory one in, and ending inventory and one out.
Okay,
Stereotypically. So yes, I did kind of know.
okay, all right.
Okay. You're next. What number do you want?
Oh.
Let's do the, oh no,
Doing sales revenue.
but that would be cheating down. And the problem is this is such a long list. As soon as we start skipping around, it gets really confusing. So let's just keep going down the list.
Moving on. Depreciation on the factory.
Yes.
I would probably say it's, I wanna say it's credit side of manufacturing overhead.
Where did the credit thing come from?
Depreciation? Isn't that a credit?
What kind is it
It goes straight to the income.
is it a revenue? There are five types of kind of accounts in the world: revenue, expense, asset, liability, owner's equity. What kind is manufacturing overhead? Revenue, expense, asset, liability, owner's equity. What kind is manufacturing overhead?
I've already struck out.
No, it is an expense. And so depreciation expense, where was the depreciation expense for? The factory. So where in the world did the concept of that being a period cost come from? That is a product cost because it's in the factory where they make stuff.